Good have Shabbos, everyone. Okay, so I'm just in outside a little military zone here, so it's kind of a bad background. But either way, this week is Shabbos Chaya and Shabbos Mevarchim Kislev. So in 1951, going into 52, Tafshin Beis, the Sikha we learned this week, and also the Mimer, the Rebbe discusses something very interesting and appropriate to our times. The Rebbe asked the questions: why does it say 2 times Chaya Sarah in the beginning of the Parsha? 2 times. This is the days of Sarah. This is the life of Sarah. Based on the Zohar, it brings down, asking the question that why do we mention of all the women Sarah's death, and not just her death, but the days of her life? We don't find that by anyone. Specifically, we don't find that by Chava. You know, the Gemara says something very interesting about the relationship between Chava and Sarah. So the Gemara says that Sarah to Chava is like a kof, like a monkey to a person. That's how great Chava was. And nevertheless, Sarah gets mentioned and not Chava. And in the Mimer, the Rebbe explains, because as great as Chava was, specifically Sarah fixes the mistakes of Chava. And we know that what was the mistake of the Chet Eitzadas, of the tree of knowledge, was the idea of Hergish Atzmoi, the feeling of self. Until then, they had no identity of self. Adam and Chava were serving Hashem, and it wasn't about the feeling, what's good for me. And the first thing that the snake comes to show Chava, is this is good for you. Why don't you eat from the tree? You'll benefit from it. It'll be personally beneficial to you, to your children. And then she tries to convince Adam to eat it, and becomes an issue of hergish, or a person starts feeling self-identity, what's in it for me? What do I have from this? And from there started all the negative, and from there we had a world that ended up with a flood. So comes Sarah and she tries to fix it. So first it says Noach tried to fix it, and he tried to fix it by planting the wine, the vineyard, and he also that wasn't successful. But Sarah does fix it, because we know that when it comes to service of Hashem, the service of Hashem has to be done with simcha, with joy. If we don't have simcha, we don't have joy, so we can't touch the essence of God. Essence of God, everything we do with our intellect and our emotions is all limited. But when a person reaches simcha, so simcha pairs together, breaks all boundaries. And when a person has simcha, you can really truly reach the essence of God. The problem with simcha is we know that when a person's happy, it could lead to destructive things. Happiness, the energies, the forces of evil, could actually siphon off simcha. And in order for simcha to have its boundaries and have its limitations, to be focused, we have to have bittul. We have to have self-nullification. The problem is that once Chava ate from the tree, every good feeling was about how I feel about it. How does my Yiddishkeit feel for me? How does Torah mitzvahs feel for me? How's my relationship with God? What do I get out of it? And so when Chava did that, so that brought destruction, because it was about her. And Sarah was able to find simcha with Kabbalah Sol, that even though that today, since Chava ate from the tree, we can't get rid of self-feeling, but we could focus the hergish, the feeling of self, to be beyond yourself. And that is when a person says, there's great simcha and there's great feeling, but the feeling is based on what I've done for Hashem. How is Hashem happy with my service? How is Hashem happy with how I've been as a Yid? How is Hashem happy with how I'm bringing light to the world? And Sarah had that tremendous focus. We know specifically as to with Shabbos candles, like in this week's Parsha, that we know that the light that Sarah gave out to the world lasted a whole week, because she was so focused. It was so much about how she could bring good to the world that even the simcha, the joy, and the good feeling that she had was a feeling about how it bettered her service to Hashem. And this applies to all of us in all the parts of our life, in everything that we do. And when we eat and we have relationships and we have intercourse, everything that we're doing is holy. And when we do it in a way that it's the feeling is there, but the feeling is, how do we further the agenda of Hashem? How do we further the purpose of creation, which is to make this place a dir b'tachtonim? So then we connect to the essence. And this also is a very important point that Rebbe continues in the Sikha, that when a person goes to the month of Kislev, and the month of Kislev is the month of Geula. So we have Geulas, we have redemptions, like Pesach, that we go totally out into freedom. We go from Gullus, from exile to freedom. But the problem is that when as soon as you go back into a negative space, because it's about you were enslaved and now you're free. So now you're enslaved. Your whole system crashes. Your whole geula, your whole redemption crashes. But when a person is able to find both the general geula, which we find by Chanukah, and also the personal geula in general, that a person is able to get out of a situation, even when you're in gullus, even though in general around you you're not in a good space, but you're able to find focus, like Sarah is able to find focus, that even in difficult times, even when I'm dealing with personal challenges, I'm able to focus that. Then the geula, then your strength withstands every situation. Then your geula, your redemption, withstands every situation. And therefore, I want to bless everyone. We're going through hard times, but if our foundation of our comfort was because we lived in good times, and now we're getting uncomfortable with our surroundings, so we have to find inner strength, where our happiness and our hergish and our feeling is not about ourselves, it's about how we could serve Hashem better, and then every situation we'll be able to withstand until we come to the coming of Mashiach. This is just a step right before the full light of Mashiach, the Karav Mamish. Good Shabbos, everyone.